So, today's video is, as you can see in the title, can you wheelie an AT restricted MT07? And I'm here to answer that question for you today, and I'm going to tell you it straight up, and that is absolutely. Now, in the UK, the throttle is restricted. I'll turn it off by half, so as you can see, it literally turns a tiny bit. But just to let you know, that does not make any real difference to your wheelie ability on this bike. If anything, it makes it better because you've not got as much turn in that throttle, so it's a little less touchy. However, it is still quite touchy. Now, in terms of the bike, can it power wheelie? The answer to that is yes, but in first, and you have to kind of tug on the throttle to almost essentially shock the bike. Now, I'll show you to begin with how to kind of get this bike up in first gear off of throttle, and then we'll go on to the next step. As you can see, go about 16 miles an hour. Tug on that throttle. And boom! You've wheelied an MT07 AT restricted off of just throttle alone. So when people tell you you cannot wheelie an MT07 AT restricted with a power wheelie, that is incorrect. If you are in first gear, you can. Now, the second part of the video. Now, people want to know, can you clutch this up? Now, of course you can. In first, even restricted, do not clutch this bike up unless you are insanely confident. Do not do it. It's still got too much torque even when restricted. But in second gear, this thing will clutch up, but at lower speeds. Now, unrestricted, this bike will clutch up at 80 miles an hour, and you can get it up if you give it enough of a tug. But restricted, it's a bit more restricted in terms of its ability to actually wheelie. So I'll show you, in second gear, you can clutch it up at around 20, 30 miles an hour. So, as you can see, again, in second gear, this bike was absolutely fine to wheelie, and there was zero problems. The bike comes up without a problem. You may have to in second give it a little bit of a bounce, but if you give it enough revs, that's not going to be your problem. Now, the bike, as I say, is throttle restricted, but it still does the same sort of thing. It has the same sort of power, but the bike is more than able and more than capable of wheeling in first and second restricted. In third, I'd say it's kind of out of bounds. It really struggles to get up, but in first and second, the capability is still there. We'll do a couple wheelies. So you want to be at about 10 miles an hour in first, and then you just want to give that throttle a bit of a whiplash. And as you can see, we're cruising in the air. No problem at all. There's no problems at all with getting it up in first. It's very comfortable. It comes up quite smooth as long as you don't give it too much. And yeah, it's definitely possible. And again, clutch ups. Give it a little bit of a bounce. And as you can see, second gear, again, just as capable as first in terms of getting the bike on the back wheel. There is absolutely no problems. And to answer your question, in short, can you wheelie the Yamaha MT07 AT restricted? And your answer to that is absolutely.